Well, hello everybody. I'll give it a minute to let people log on. We're going to talk about light in the darkness, and we're going to talk about residential school genocide and a lot of developments as of late with a lot going on in Canada. A lot of groups popping up, a lot of groups always wanting to get into residential school genocide, which is a little light in the darkness, a truth, and as this flame flickers in the darkness, when's it going to go out? Gotta protect it, keep it shielded, gotta keep it alive. But how do you do that when you have so many wanting to put it out just like that? That's the topic of this video, folks, and we're going to get into it now. Oh boy, is that zoomed in, eh? Oh my gosh, look at it. He's old. Let's see if we get this fixed. Oh, I didn't get that zoomed out. Wonder if that... There we go. There. Hello, folks. So we're going to go into this. A lot of narratives have been working on the residential school genocide. We hit the June 28th. We've done excellent with that. We did great breakthroughs right across Canada. And a lot of groups coming forward. There's even talk of meeting with our group and what we're presenting for chiefs. A lot of folks want to get into that. But what are their narratives and what are their underlying truths that they believe in? Do they even care about residential school genocide? As I've always said, folks, 8 out of 10 people are not interested in any truth, generally not interested in anything but their own narratives, which ultimately are never, ever usually about the truth. 8 out of 10 folks, and it's tough. It's tough because you go around and you find out a lot of people are not what they claim to be. A lot of people have interests that vastly differentiate themselves from any light of the truth. I find it all the time. Lots of folks who, in the name of a religion or in the name of an ideology, a culture, a truth, or a system of law they wish to impose on others, which brings me to all of these people's actions and narratives about taking over the law, the system of Canada, either through force or through sheer lies. And I want to be honest here, folks, there is no taking over the crown by any force, and there's no, I state a law, it is a law, that's how it's going to work. Well, folks, if you haven't read your history books, I'm going to let you in on a little secret for those out in La La Land who think that somehow I will write my own laws, they will work, and people will learn that we can work outside the law. You can't work outside the law, because the ability to enact a law, and anyone can enact any law they wish. You can. If I have enough force behind me, enforcement, which is half of all laws in the world today. If you can't enforce a law, it's not a law. Not any law at all. And those saying, oh, no, law works like this, it's going to work like this, I'm going to go around and tell everybody this system of governance or this law that I say is going to work, and I'm going to make everybody do it. That's great if you can enforce the law. So if you don't have a mighty military, a mighty amount of people behind you, a mighty police force behind you, you don't got any laws. You got zero. And what you'll find is the law that can be enforced, that is enforced, will arrest you and throw you out on your ass. And lights of truth that are based in real law, lights of truth, will get blown out when they associate themselves with unlawfulness or try to work in a system that can't be enforced. People's ideas of a world they'd like to have, and they think they can enforce that, but they have nothing behind them to see that happen. Two parts of law: one, to enact it; two, to enforce it. If you can't enforce these laws you profess, that fast, that easy. Residential school genocide, the narrative we bring forward, is 100% lawful, in fact enforceable, and backed up in real history since World War II. Been done 84 times in this world. That's a little light of truth, real law, and real ability to enforce. A little one right here for all Canadians and First Peoples. So if you're not about that, and you have ideas that you're going to corrupt this little light, you're going to ruin it with false narratives, lies, or you're going to fight the system without the ability to enforce your own laws or a made-up system you'd like to have, to residential school genocide. That's how easy, that's how fast. We don't care about growth. Our group doesn't care about self-gratification. We definitely don't care about money. We don't make any money. It's all about the ability to enforce this and get the job done through 100% truth, with working in the system as it really is, accepting the reality of the system around you, laws enacted and enforced worldwide or domestically here in Canada. That's what we do, and we follow that to a T. If you can't enforce a law or an idea, it's not law at all. You can enact anything you want, but if you can't, again, enforce that law, you've got nothing. Nothing. That's why in Canada laws change all the time. They change goalposts. Governments, as wrong as they are, will try to enact laws and then see them enforced. If they can't be enforced because civil disobedience is too high, you see them get scrapped or popularity goes down. But folks, without any popularity, without any kind of real clear majority of civil disobedience behind it, and get wiped out rather quickly, their narratives aren't held by any kind of majority. And in fact, the system's able, through its laws that they've enacted and they are enforcing upon you, and they get away with that, and there's not enough civil disobedience to stop it. Guess what? That is law. That will be precedence in Canada, and it's enforceable because we've watched it be enforced. And people who try to grab things like residential school genocide, this little light of hope, this little light of truth and hope that's enforceable, has been enacted and enforced throughout the entire world. If you're going to take your unlawfulness, your narratives that aren't in a majority, that clearly can't be enforced, and try to hijack this little light because why? You want to add it to your toolbox of bullshit and see the light. I don't know what to tell you. People need to understand that you can do all the actions you want, but if they're not lawful, meaning your actions can't be enforced by any majority or legally in any system, or you don't have enough military police or revolutionaries to see your ideals brought to mainstream, you're just a criminal. And again, you will take a little light of hope, like residential school genocide, and you'll blow it out. That's my video. I hope that explained to a lot of people. We don't want you. We don't need you. We're not looking for any financing. We're not looking to add people to a narrative where clearly you don't want justice for the children, or you don't want to see Canada fixed legally. That's legal in Canada through constitutionalism, or absolutely legal on the world stage in international law. If you operate out of any of those systems today You operate in a system of unenforceability, meaning you want to enact things that can't be enforced. You don't have law, you don't have nothing. You often find yourself registered as a terrorist, a criminal, a rebellion, whatever, that you'll end up in a minority, you'll end up criminalized and likely in prison, enforced by laws whether you like it or not. And again, the ability to enact law is only achievable if you have the ability to enforce it. Anyone trying to bring narratives forward outside of truth, outside of real enforced laws in this world or in our own country, or at least there's an ability in absolute highest law to enforce these things and these narratives, then don't bring it forward. Don't. Because all you're going to do is blow out all the other truths. And it amazes me that so much crazy, absolute lunacy is out there, and they just keep coming and coming and coming. Oh no, we want. But then they have so many other narratives that they're just there to blow out your light of truth. And we have to be ever vigilant, and it's sad. It's reality, and it's kind of the same groups of people, like they're going to force it on you. We're going to force our ideology on you. That's no different than the lunatic left and the radical right, and often these people fall into it. They can't see past their own nose. I'm watching it for years and years, and people trying to force me into their narratives, and how dare you not follow? Again, I'm going to say it, folks. It isn't law if you can't enforce it. And the government's proven beyond all measure in Canada they most certainly can enforce their laws. That's called legality. That's called the truth. You can battle against law with law in place that is enforced. You have to show precedent. If you don't have that, you've got nothing. If you don't have in civil disobedience, I'm going to say it again, a clear majority of civil disobedience, you don't have law, you've got unlawfulness, and you're likely to end up registered as a terrorist, a rebel, a criminal. And we are not going to put residential school genocide, a light of truth, a light of hope for all Canadians and First Peoples. We're never going to let people go like this because of their stupid ideological ideals. They're not based in any fact, truth, and cannot be enforced, meaning they're criminal. Whether you like it or not, it's not about what I like, what I believe in, or what I think. It's about what the majority thinks, wants, and will see enacted through force. Enforcement. If you're not enforceable, if you're in a small minority, an idea that clearly is not based in any enforced laws in the world today or in the country of origin you live in, I'm sorry, but you're screwed. And nothing you're going to do is going to see anything of justice, truth, or enactment ever happen. And likely everyone associated with you will end up under the thumb of the law, which means you'll be on the other side of real law, which means prison. And any little lights of truth you have, that's Canada. I don't like it. I don't like it. I like the idea of a rule of law. I like the idea of getting things in Canada done through legal means. And if Canada won't do it or refuses to do it, and there's a majority of the world who's enacted international law to limit governments like Canada, i.e. residential school genocide, from occurring, lights like this, in darkness countries like Canada, and you can do that, that's what we're doing. We're going to keep this little light alive. We have a majority of the world behind us. We may not have the country of Canada or even Canadians and First Peoples behind us yet. But by sticking to the truth, by following the light of truth in this vast amount of Canadian darkness, we can get it done. That's my video, folks. Share. Get it out there. We're never going to take crazy, radical, or fringe ideas that can't be enforced legally, whether that's domestically or internationally. That's it. That's all. That's my video. Bye now.